Greece has accused its northern neighbour, the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, of excessive use of violence after Sunday's border scenes during which hundreds of migrants and refugees were injured. Athens says it's making formal protests to Macedonian and European authorities. Calm has since returned to IDOMENI. Macedonian police have denied using plastic bullets, a claim that's challenged by doctors treating injuries.
Serious concerns have been fractures and plastic bullet wounds to the head. So I've had 3 children under the age of 10 who've had a plastic bullet to the head.
Sunday's tension following the border's total closure in February came after a leaflet in Arabic was distributed on Saturday suggesting the frontier would open. A delegation of 5 Syrian refugees tried to mediate between police and protesters to no avail.
We will try to ask them to just calm and keep down, but the problem is that we cannot control 10,000 people.
Greece says it's been trying to persuade refugees and migrants that they should go to reception centres elsewhere in the country to ask for asylum, a message that's failed to get through.
The French government has promised about €500 million in aid to students as it seeks to smooth over relations with protesters who threaten to continue their nighttime demonstrations in Paris into the 12th night. The measures proposed by the Prime Minister Manuel Valls include subsidies for young job seekers and aid for apprentices and students. While the head of the students' union said they were satisfied with the concessions, he added that they would continue to protest against a draft labour law. Thousands of mainly young left-wing voters have turned out to contest the changes to employment laws in recent weeks. The movement has already forced the government to water down certain business-friendly elements of the bill, which was designed to make good on promises to bring down unemployment. However, some unions vow not to give up until the law is thrown out in its entirety.
Police in Paris have evacuated a protest camp in the city's Place de la République, occupied for 11 consecutive nights by demonstrators demanding social. Perhaps that was because they were planning to return later to resume the so-called Nuit debout movement, roughly translated as up all night. Stemming from opposition to government labour reforms, it sparked wider social demands. I'm an estate agent, this protester explains, saying he's been coming to the square after work or between meetings whenever he can. What's wrong? I don't know exactly, this woman says. I'm a young graduate. I can't find a job. It's complicated. I'm a bioengineer, but I'm having to change profession before even getting a foothold in the field I studied for. We're told to do things properly. We do that, and then it doesn't work, so there's a problem. The contested labour reforms aimed at loosening France's protective employment laws were on the agenda as students and youth leaders met the Prime Minister today, amid determination that up all night will continue.
German authorities are investigating whether a satirical TV presenter who allegedly insulted Turkey's President Erdogan could face charges. Jan Böhmermann's poem contained references to paedophilia and bestiality. His own channel said it had clearly crossed the boundary from satire into slander and pulled the late-night programme from a repeat airing. Chancellor Merkel called the programme unacceptable and deliberately insulting towards Turkey's president and phoned the country's prime minister to say so. German law forbids insults of organs or representatives of foreign states. Prosecutors have asked the public channel ZDF, which received around 20 complaints after the broadcast, to provide a video. There were protests outside the German consulate in Istanbul. It's been revealed that following a previous broadcast by Böhmermann, the German ambassador to Turkey was summoned by the government in Ankara to explain.
19 years old and just married, but life is no domestic dream. For Nechteman, it is the start of another day in uniform on the front line. Her name means homeland, and that is why she volunteered to join a women's troop of Kurdish Peshmerga soldiers. It is the love for her homeland which made her decide to take up arms against the so-called Islamic State. She was born into a revolutionary Kurdish family. Her husband is also a soldier in the war against the jihadists. She is aware of the daily dangers which she faces and admits to missing her family, but she is clear about her priority. We are not afraid of ISIL at all. We will continue to defend our land. We will fight until the last breath, and we will not allow them to progress. She is based in the northern region of Iraq, from where she and her fellow soldiers helped to defend the oil-rich city of Kirkuk. The troop, along with Iraqi armed forces under the leadership of Kurdish Peshmerga forces, were able to defeat ISIL and retake control of Kirkuk. Neşteman and all the members of her troop have gone through intensive training, concentrating on, among other aspects, endurance and the ability to hide their feelings and not show any signs of weakness. Reaping revenge for all the women who were captured or raped by the jihadists is a huge motivation. I succeeded shooting several ISIL fighters during the battles in which we were engaged. Some were injured by my bullets, some were killed. We have had to defend this front line several times as ISIL keep attacking us from time to time. My personal life and my military life are connected to each other, but my personal dream is to live in peace and be free with my family. That's all I wish. It's been a year since Neşteman joined up. She makes contact with her close relatives when she can, but for now she is part of a family of fighters who support each other in the hope their roles will one day create a brighter future for all their families.
Police in India are questioning at least 5 people over this weekend's deadly fireworks display at a Hindu temple, captured on camera in these horrifying images. More than 100 people were killed on Sunday when the unauthorized pyrotechnic show, part of New Year festivities in the southern state of Kerala, set off explosions and a fire. Nearly 400 people were injured, suffering burns and wounds caused by flying concrete and debris. One of the thousands gathered at the temple when disaster struck. This man was with his family enjoying the celebrations when the fire broke out. A big piece of stone hit my brother on the head, he says. As police pursue an attempted murder inquiry, Prime Minister Narendra Modi flew to the region within hours with a team of doctors. Lax security is often the cause of the all-too-frequent fires and stampedes at religious events in India.
Centre-right candidate KEIKO Fujimori has won the first round of Peru's presidential election. Early official results, with around 2/5 of votes counted, have given her almost 40%. Fujimori has vowed to preserve democracy and tackle crime. She's distanced herself from her father, ex-president Alberto Fujimori, who's in jail for human rights abuses. We hope that it'll be a second round with proposals, with ideas that are prudent. And we invite all Peruvians on June the 5th to choose change, to choose the future, because the future of Peru is already on its way. Thank you.
Optar por el futuro, porque el futuro del Perú ya está en marcha. Muchas gracias.
It's likely that she'll meet centre-right candidate Pedro Kuczynski in the runoff. Early results put the 77-year-old former World Bank economist and ex-finance minister in second place with around 25% of the vote. There was some election-linked violence. Suspected leftist rebels killed 3 people and injured 6 more in an ambush on Saturday. A vehicle carrying election materials in a remote cocoa-growing region was targeted. Maoist Shining Path rebels are being blamed.